Hola, mi gente, happy Wednesday. Today is another one of the Democratic presidential debates, and we have one new person on stage that you have heard a lot about over the last few weeks because everybody seems to be talking about Michael Bloomberg, former New York City mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg. Now, the reason why he's not been to any of the debates is that he would not qualify with the previous set of rules. You had to meet two different criteria. One was to get enough percentage in national polls and or a certain number of local polls, and the other one was through donations, and that is the one criteria he couldn't meet because he was funding his entire campaign and not accepting any donations. But the Democratic National Convention chair, Tom Perez, changed the rules to get on the debate stage. And, well, now Michael Bloomberg has qualified. So he's going to be on stage alongside the other people you're familiar with: Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar. Okay, another reason that this is kind of interesting is because Michael Bloomberg is not participating and has not participated in the other primaries or caucuses. So he was not on the ballot or as a candidate in Iowa. He was not on New Hampshire. He will not be on the ballot in Nevada, which is the next state, or South Carolina. He is focusing on Super Tuesday. That'll be March 3rd, where like 14 different states are holding their primaries. And the way he's doing that is by putting a ton of money on ads, on TV and digital ads. And when I say a ton of money, I'm talking about more than $400 million. $400 million. Plus, more than that. Interesting, since the debate tonight is in Nevada, but he's not even going to be on the ballot in Nevada. Okay, but apparently he has reached a good placement in the polls. In some of them, he's actually polling second right after Bernie. In some of them, he is third after Bernie and Biden and almost tied with Warren and Buttigieg. Now, I don't want to sound, overly negative, and I have honestly debated covering this or talking about this over the last couple of weeks because I have seen Michael Bloomberg's poll numbers go up. I have to be completely honest with you guys. I criticized former European Union Ambassador Gordon Sondland for getting his job in the Trump administration after donating $1 million to the Trump inaugural campaign. And honestly, I don't see how this is any different. Michael Bloomberg is putting a ton of money on ads to buy his way in to the Democratic nomination. I honestly cannot see the difference. And I find that frustrating and troublesome. But those are not the only things that bother me about Michael Bloomberg. And some of you are already familiar with, some of you are not, and you should be. Maybe you have heard about a term called stop and frisk. So this is a policy that was implemented when he was mayor of New York City, and he has defended it until quite recently. And stop and frisk, in case you don't know, was a policy that allowed the police to stop and frisk anybody that they felt like and frisk them and try to see if they had any weapons. But the interesting thing here is that it was clearly targeting minorities, black and brown minorities, specifically men between the ages of 16 and 25. And there is a recording that has been published now, it's been made public, of Michael Bloomberg defending his stop and frisk policies and even saying that pretty much if you're a police officer, you should just go and detain young black or brown men and frisk them to see weapons because, according to him, they were the responsible ones for most of the crimes and murders in New York City. Obviously, this is extremely racist. There's a judge that even found this to be unconstitutional, and that is something that we need to keep in mind when we are defending him at all costs and thinking that he's going to be our savior. But that's not the only reason why he is controversial and problematic. There's another issue called redlining. Redlining literally is a practice where banks would draw red lines around certain areas of maps, and it was a discriminatory practice against, again, people of color or immigrants, so that they wouldn't be able to get loans to or mortgages to buy houses in certain areas. It was a way to keep Black and brown people out of certain neighborhoods. And according to Michael Bloomberg, the elimination of redlining is what caused the housing crisis of 2019. There is another recording of him saying this. I'm not saying that's what he says right now, but there is a recording of him blaming part of the housing crisis from 2008 on the elimination of redlining practices, when we know that it was the bank's bad intentions and practices and bad strategies that led to the housing crisis. And unfortunately, due to redlining, there's an accumulation of wealth in primarily white neighborhoods where Black and brown people or immigrants were not able to buy houses, and those neighborhoods where they were able to buy houses didn't go up in value as much. So those are two things that I really, really want you to keep in mind. And I just wanted to really present you with why I have issues and frustration about Michael Bloomberg, and it's not just me. You will see this a lot in social media. I recommend that you look for some stories that are heartbreaking about lives that were literally changed due to his stop and frisk policies. Young Black men that were studying and had to change their entire lives around to stop going out at night from study groups because they were going to be stopped by the police, not once, not twice, but multiple times per month. We will see what happens. I'm definitely watching the debate tonight. I would love to hear your questions and comments, so let me know what you think. Bye.